I was curious about the communication side of it. Um, what is the environment you're going into like when you're talking? And we'll go through the different ones, the tier ones, the contractors. How is that communication done? How is it kept, you know, collaborative as opposed to, they're high pressure, it's big money at stake. They're everybody that you're talking to, I'm sure, is getting pressured from somewhere else. How do you navigate that individually and as a company?
Absolutely. As a company, we're a broad ranging company. Like I said before, we've got several divisions, all vying for market share in their specific space. Cooling specifically, we deal with a multiple of stakeholders, right? From guys on site that just want their machines moving dirt, to the corporate guys that are looking to reduce cost, and it's data driven. We've got a great marketing team that rolls out our case studies, data sheets for our new products that we've developed. So that's key for us, is really solid data on improvement and improving engine performance, cooling performance, life. And that talks to a multiple of stakeholders in any company, right? Whether it's a tier one, a contractor, a mid-cap miner,
Mm.
they're all looking to increase production and reduce costs, and we can help in those areas.
And then from Scott, from the technical support, what does that look like? And even
Yeah.
right down to the communication cycle. In this show, there's sort of the zoom out and zoom right in to those. Over those weeks when a product needs to come online, and you're back and forth and identifying, communicating what their issues are, asking them for information. That whole process that you need to go through.
So HE at its scale, we've been very beneficial in there's a quite significant ERP system inside HE, and we also have tied to that quality documents that actually run per part number. So if we find an innovation, for instance, in our Rutherford workshop, because they've seen a certain number of failures, we've been able to get the benefit of understanding what it's going to take to repair that. We'll build that into our documentation system, and then the very next time that job's done anywhere in Australia, the documentation pack prints out and it actually mandates that these repairs need to be done, or these upgrades. So even before the customer in a different jurisdiction knows that there's a problem with that particular one, the branch that they're getting that item repaired at is automatically doing that repair as a minimum standard. So that's the communication piece internally.
Wow.
Externally, we find that our ladies and gentlemen that deal firsthand with the customers, our estimators and our salespeople, when they're talking with the clients on site about the problems and about just the general repairs that are coming in, we very much understand that although Australia is a very large place and it's got a very big mining community, there's actually a relatively small number of players in there that will move from different places, and they take that knowledge with them that, hey, these are the tier one solution providers. These are the guys that fix problems on site. These are the guys that don't let me down, as opposed to potentially there are other repairers that we could use. And so we find that by building relationships, particularly over the long term, and we're quite fortunate that a lot of our key people have been in the business for many, many, many years, those reputations and those relationships that they've built on site continue to draw the interest and the inquiry back into the business.
Have you noticed a jump? We'll talk especially with the tier ones, but even it trickles down to the contractors as well. But with pressure from ESG goals and things like that, and just general efficiency, has it really ramped up the demand? Have you noticed a spike in just them asking for more and more from HE, but also just sort of a willingness to even move faster to sort of hit their goals as well?
Yeah, I think you become a stakeholder. Once you're in, it becomes a relationship, not transactional. Once we're
Right.
in
Yeah.
this industry, right? So we're supporting them, they support us. We talk about problems they're experiencing, we provide a solution. So I think those ESG goals, it's not their problem, it's everyone's problem at the moment. So we need to all work together to hit those goals. I'd say the beauty of the cooling division is a hell of a lot of recycling can go through. We use a lot of copper, aluminium. We can really reduce our footprint that way. We're cooling the planet, essentially. That's what we're trying to do in the next
Right.
till 2030 and beyond. So we've been really engaged with key players in those future facing industries and the energy transition, being able to support those transitions, really, from whether it's from diesel to electric or hydrogen. We're heavily involved in the design process. We've supplied components for a few of the key players there, and definitely provided designs for retrofit kits to change fleets. We're looking at, because I don't think they're going to keep up by just supplying a whole new fleet of electric vehicles. There's going to be a retrofit or an alternative coming, right? So we're very well placed with our engineering, got really robust supply chains that work with our engineers. So that's been a key benefit. And going back to your previous question around the communication, a lot of it's around transparency both ways, right? So getting a really good grasp on the problems or their priorities and us being able to solve them. And that comes from every level of the business. As Scott said, the workshop guys talking, guys on site, sales, interacting, and that's a regular interaction. And that goes throughout the business. I think there's going to be a competitive advantage in some areas with our service exchange, having those units on the ground to turn around quickly and keep clients' machines running.